He rode a freight train here, believe it or not. Santa Fe freight trains ran from Oklahoma to California. And we started out highway trying to get to California. And then that was during the Depression, and gasoline was probably 10 cents a gallon. It was too expensive. People couldn't drive much. So we, after a couple of days, we only got made about 100 bottles. So somebody suggested we get the freight train. If they had boxcars and openings on both ends, that means that they're going to California. So my mother and my stepdad and me and my sister Fannie, we all got into this open door here on the freight train. And well, it's a fruit carrier, what it really was. And so this is how we started out to California on a freight train. And they got a book on that now, Riding the Rails. So, but of course then we didn't know they were going to write a book about it. But we had a rough time. We got about into Arizona, somewhere in Arizona, and the train stopped to get water. Those steam engines trains at them days. And while they were getting water, they come down and was kicking all the hobos off of the train. And we were out in the middle of nothing. So, but they didn't care. They kicked all the hobos out off of the train. They come to our train and looked in there and seen a family. And so they, on the outside of the boxcar, they wrote family. And after that, we had no problems. Every time we stopped, they'd come by and see our family and they wouldn't bother us. But no, they didn't know. We had a couple of hobos hiding back in the back there. So it's a good thing because we weren't prepared for a long trip to California on a freight train. We couldn't stop that big boys run to these places to get a hamburger or anything. So we had very little to eat. And my mother and stepdad, they said to keep saying they wasn't hungry. But right when I get big now, I can look back and said they were hungry, but they was saving the food for me and Fannie. But we finally made it to Orange, Texas, Orange, California. And we looked out that thing and we seen orange trees after orange trees. The big old oranges out there. So I jumped out and I was hungry. Everybody was hungry. So I jumped down and went over that thing and I opened my shirt. I put everything I could in my shirt. And coming back, I was so full of oranges that I couldn't get down enough to avoid the sticker. I forgot
the barbed wire.
Yep. And anyway, I ducked down and I missed it, and then they cut a great big gash in my upper arm here. And it was bleeding bad, but I didn't lose one orange. I kept make sure all the oranges were in my shirt when I got to the car. But these hobos knew how to treat it from nothing, so they just held it real tight and put some newspaper on it and just held that there. And then they wrapped it up in newspaper, and that didn't work. So Mama had a long dress, and she tore the rim off of her dress and made a bandage of it for my shoulder. So then after that, we got a little farther down there, and that stopped, and the train stopped, said, the conductor came back and said, you have to get off here, because if you go all the way into Los Angeles, they'll send you back to Oklahoma. So we didn't want that. So we got out there. We was in the middle, quite a ways from Long Beach, California, which we wanted to go. So we got out and started hitchhiking, and of course there's four of us, and we kept waiting for people to pick us up. Finally a big truck come by, and guess what, he was going to Long Beach. So we rode with this truck all the way to Long Beach. And I got up the Signal Hill, and I looked over the top of that hill and seen the ocean, and I wanted to walk right to the ocean right now. It's the first time I'd ever seen the ocean. What a big joy that was. So then we went there, and we had Red Cross. We went to the Red Cross and Salvation Army. The Salvation Army fixed us up with hotels for 4 days, and we could eat for 4 days. And by that time, we finally got in contact with Brother's uncle. The uncle worked in this, well, he did all the hiring and firing in this me and my roommate, fish canneries. There was 3 fish canneries there. So everybody went to work in the canneries except me. And I was too young, so we ended up I'd say about a block from the Pike. And the Pike is where it had all the rides and stuff that kids like to go on. So I think I rode them all. I conned him to let me ride the rides, and in turn, I had to pick up their eats and take it to them from the restaurant. From that on, I started doing that, and I could ride on any ride on the Pike at that day. I said, man, and I did. But that was good old days, and we finally, everybody was working, and we finally found a house of our own. And we stayed there, and the fish canneries ran out. We had to get on a train, and then on the bus, Everett bought a pickup with a flatbed on the back, so we all pulled out of that and went in, started picking cotton up in Merced and Bakersfield area. We started picking cotton. And when that failed, we got into the grapes, picked grapes. And so back in there, we normally stayed about 3 months. And so they ran out of everything to pick, so then we took it back, and lucky enough, Everett found another job, and Mother still stayed in the canyon. So I was still on my own, and Fannie was working too with Mom. So I'm back again. I can go ride all them rides on the Pike. So I was a light boy. I could do anything, and they all started liking me. So they didn't make sure I was eating something. So that was good days. It was really good days.